Welcome in, guys. Wildland Second Entertainment here. Uh, don't mind me if I sound a little weird. Allergies being an absolute bitch right now. So, I got a little something going on here. My computer's not sitting right there like it usually is. Don't mind all this junk. My game room is in absolute fucking mess right now. I don't have really the space to put a lot of stuff that I have in here. And one of my other rooms is currently gutted right down to the bare floor. Hopefully, that room will become my new studio eventually, but I gotta get some sound panels, some racks, and stuff like that. But, anyways, I want to show you what's going on here. So, this thing here is sitting on one of the tables I have, but my computer is going to be getting new graphics card, cleaned out, and in the back of it, a brand new power supply. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. As you can see, yeah, uh, um, yeah, I think it needs a cleaning. Oh god, yeah, I think she's a little dirty. Last time I cleaned this thing out was never. I put this thing together about into this case, the Fantex NV7. I want to say, give or take, about a year ago. Everything was cleaned, but yeah, we don't know how that works. So I will be back when this thing is completely taken apart. Show you guys what I got for parts in here. I'm not going to take everything apart. I also am going to re-thermal paste it because I do use KPX from Kingpin, but that was when I put this thing in there. So honestly, I have no idea. Like, I know Jace 2 Cents uses KPX, the Kingpin KPX. He says it lasts dang near forever, but I want to test that for myself. So I have noticed over the course of a year, the temperatures have climbed about like 5 degrees on average. So it may actually have a dry spot in the middle of it, but I don't particularly know. But I'll see when it gets completely torn apart. All right, everyone. So I got that taken care of. Definitely, definitely looks different. Yeah, that's the back of it there. Some existing wiring and stuff like that. That's gonna stay in here. Yeah, good old SATA cable. Stole that thing out of one of my old PCs I have laying around here. Because apparently, uh, yeah, I didn't have any more when I had to add in a couple things. Uh, being the fact that when I put this computer together, the two existing SATA cables that came in the original build when I first bought it weren't long enough. Only one of them was. So I had to go find a longer SATA cable, which came out of an old like Dell Inspiron or something like that I had. Here's the front of it. So, believe it or not, yes, I am running. The back fans are two Be Quiet Silent Wing 2s, I think. And yeah, that right there is the reason why my temperatures were climbing. That stuff is um yeah. Focus, you fuck. Yeah, not very pasty like anymore. Ew. That's a pretty CPU. Editing magic works wonders. Okay, so as for all the parts I have laid out here, there's the old GPU. That thing was sagging like crazy. The reason being is because, and this is one of the things I don't particularly like about this case, okay? Those threaded holes are a pain in absolute ass to work with. I don't know what kind of threading they used on it, but I can tell you right now it wasn't that great. Like, Fantex, do better. As for the rest of these, this is actually where Fantex really actually did some really good work. The back plates here, right there, right here, and right there, being that right there, absolutely amazing. Like, they are top tier. It is just a single screw holding the whole thing in, and it just slides right out. Does absolutely amazing. Now, that thing right there, that is the Arctic Freezer 2 360. I've had that thing for about the same time I've had that case. A little over a year or so now. For, like, I think I bought it for like 80 bucks, 80, 90 bucks. You cannot beat that thing. Like, I don't care. Corsair. I love Corsair, but that thing just blows it out of the water. The H150i does not stand a chance against that thing price because the basic H150i is about on the same price point, but I can tell you right now, the Arctic Freezer 2 and the Arctic Freezer 3 360 blow that thing out of the water for performance. That goes to show you how overpriced some parts really are. For like 80, 90 bucks, and you can, and these things are punching at the $300 price point. There's just no reason to not go with it. Though, there is one thing I do not like about that cooler at all, and that is the fans that are on it. I highly suggest if you are going to buy any form of Arctic cooler at all, what I want you to do, I know this is going to suck for price, but I want to put a pack of those on that. Reason being is because those fans are the Fantex T30s. I do know that they are $30 a fan. You can honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, you do you. You can put whatever fans on there you want. But I highly suggest putting the Fantex T30s on there. The reason being is because price to performance, there's not a single fan on the market that outperforms those. They're a 30 millimeter thick fan with a much steep, I don't remember the actual pitch of the blades, but they are a much steeper pitch to them. And also, believe it or not, the gap between the fans, between, if you actually were to look down through there, actually, I'll just show you. Being that you can look down through there now, okay? Right there. You see that gap, okay? That gap, okay, is, oh, got a little bit. Fucking bullshit's like never sees. Just don't even touch it and it gets stuck to you. Anyways, the gap is what allows air to actually move back through the fans. The smaller that gap between the blades, the less air can make its way back through the fans. So being a 30 millimeter thick fan with a much steeper pitch to it and a lot less gap there at 3,000, I think it's like 3,000-ish RPM, the amount of static pressure and the amount of air it can move is absolutely insane. And with the Arctic Freezer 2s and the Freezer 3s, with how fine of the in the radiator, the fins, how fine the openings are, you need a much higher static pressure to be able to move the air through it. So I highly suggest putting those on there. I've already ran those exact fans that you saw there on on AIO, which I'll actually show you the one that I used on. This is the AIO right here that I used those fans on. This is the Deep Cool Rock something. I don't remember the exact name of it, but it was a subsidiary, not subsidiary, it's some kind of partnership between Deep Cool or Deep Castle, whatever the name of it was, and Zydex. Those fans work absolutely downright amazing. They are some of the best fans on the market. Like, I just cannot stress that enough. For the price, yes, it's extremely expensive for the fans, but there's nothing that really even can come close to what those fans can do. But as for the rest of the parts, let's show you. These right here are the Phanteks M25 140s. Basically, just the 140 version of those, except for those are 25 millimeters thick, and besides 30. Still is extremely well. Moving on, this buddy right here is the Seasonic Focus 850. I am upgrading from an 850 watt power supply to, I think, 12 or 1300 watts. Also, Seasonic, very, very good brand. Absolutely downright love them. That thing has never let me down at all. With that graphics card drawing upwards of almost 400 watts, and the graphics card that I have to put in here draws over 400 watts. You know, I think I could have got away with just using that, but, you know, the aspect that a lot of PC builds nowadays, especially with the way parts are going, especially like with the 5090 and the 5090 to 5080, 4090, 4080, drawing absolutely horrendous amounts of power. And who knows with what AMD is going to be doing. They may launch a surprise like 9080 XT and 9090 XT. I hope that really happens, but who really knows how that's going to go. Figure might as well put a 1200, 1300 watt power supply in there. But let's get this computer cleaned up. Alright guys, so I got everything cleaned up. Now, something a little yeah. Something I noticed about this thing, okay, you see that cable, like, right there? Okay. That cable, come to find out about this thing, is the cable that powers... Trying to have me eat you. It's the cable that controls all of the fans. Come to find out, these things ain't actually pigtail. Yeah, they're just a single little 3-pin PWM connector. Okay? Come to find out, these fans don't daisy chain the way you think they do. They daisy chain off the actual cable. I'll show you here. Okay. Come to find out. Yeah, setting the fucking thing on it. Goddamn. Yeah. No? That's a hard no to me. Arctic, fucking do better. God damn, make your fucking fans daisy chain the way they should. So, if you ever get this thing, and you ever want to put the Phanteks T30s on there, or ones that daisy chain, I would highly suggest you hide that in the back of the case. Because, that's gonna be annoying. But being I got everything cleaned up, and it should, with a little bit editing magic, holy shit, it's back together. Okay. Now that part's done. Now it's time to talk about the new parts I got. So down here, XFX 7900 XTX, Merc 316 Black. The Black editions actually are essentially an overclocked card straight out of the box. That's what that thing is. It's a Black edition. So this will replace it nicely. Then, underneath that beautiful thing right there. I'm hoping and praying that thing fits in my case. Okay, moving over here. So this is what you get inside the box for this power supply. A really nice, like, satin feeling case around it, and all of your connectors. So this is what it looks like outside of the case. Me personally, this is an absolutely gorgeous power supply. So now, the thing is that this, I believe this is an ATX 3.0, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. Now, one of the many things I do like about this thing is the fact that this right here, this is labeled very, very nicely. Unlike the other one, yes, it was labeled, but they actually on this seem to actually really make it like known as to what you're plugging in. Some of them, some power supplies, in my opinion, the labeling is absolutely trash, if not none at all. To me, that is absolutely unacceptable. There is a bare minimum. It should be just like this. Completely separated and have many, many plugs, because a lot nowadays, with what's going in some of these computers, you need many plugs and you need it labeled properly. Okay, so this is what it looks like in there. Absolutely gorgeous. But I didn't actually realize how little amount of room I have to do this. Yeah. Cable management is going to be a bit of a problem with this. I'm hoping and praying I can actually make this look decent, because I have a plan for cable management on this. Because if I ever have to take this thing apart again, I really want to actually know what is what. I know for a fact I'm going to have to take this back apart, but the fact that knowing what's what in there is a big thing to me. And the last time, well, when I originally put this thing together, I really didn't do that. I thought it was about, whatever, it'd be fine. No. I'm actually gonna do this the right way this time. I'll see when I get everything cable managed. Okay, so I haven't got anything even cable managed yet, because I just actually opened the container that holds all the cables. These cables, so far, are some of the best. Like, yes, they don't have cable combs on them, but there is kind of quote-unquote cable combs that come in the case. But the quality of these cables so far is next to none. Absolutely beautiful. Focus, you fuck. Yeah, there we go. Absolutely gorgeous braided cables. That's kind of what you get for $400 or $500 power supply. Kind of pricey, but yeah. Don't skimp on a power supply and you actually get good shit. Let's get together. Okay, guys. So I got pretty much everything ran here. PCIe, being the card I have, is a 3-port. Motherboard is all hooked up. Right there, that is the CPU cable. All the PCIe cables are ran to both drives. They're in the back here. I think it's time for the showstopper. Okay, guys, got it right here. This is the 7900 XTX from AMD. As per usual, the typical XFX thing. Stupidly heavy card, has to have the bracket on it. I know a lot of people don't like to do that because it looks, quote unquote, looks gaudy. I'm like, no. Honestly, I'd rather have it look a little off rather than have a broken PCIe slot and having to replace an entire motherboard because of GPU sag. Because this card's probably about 7 or 8 pounds. Just like the other one. Let's get it in there. Alright, I got it back together. Ain't she beautiful? Almost really can't even fucking tell the difference except for the fact that that back plate is a little bit different than this one. Other than that, you almost really can't tell except for the, like, obviously, like right there on the side, it doesn't say 7900 XTX. Wish it did. But, stick around. We'll see how she performs. Alright, so I got the computer back up and running over there. So, apparently, doing good now. Now it was like about 70 something under full load. Doing Cinebench R24. I'll let sit here, run for a few minutes, see how it goes. But once that's done, gotta get the new driver installed because I'm still technically running on the fucking driver from the 6950 XT. Once that's done, get the driver installed, do some benchmarking, see how she runs. Be right back. Well, after a single burn-in, idling around like 27, and also, it actually performs slightly better, believe it or not. It's almost beating a 32 core Threadripper. Obviously, an older one, but still nonetheless. So, at that rate, I think we're doing pretty good. Got the thermal paste out the right way the first time. That's a good thing. So now, time to do the GPU driver. I'll see you back when I'm doing the stress test on it. Okay, so I just got done doing the first stress test, and this is the score I got. To be honest with you, that's actually quite fucking good. So, here's the thing. I'm running out of the box settings. My 6950 never saw out of box settings. Like, ever. So, a couple tweaks. We'll be right back. Alright guys, so after a little bit of testing, tuning, I had to deal with a couple things for some odd reason. 3D Mark was being really, really weird, so I had to uninstall, reinstall, and I'm probably have to do that again. But either way, Port Royal, 17,711. It's actually quite decent. Obviously, it's a ray tracing test, but not gonna complain. It's a lot better than my fucking 6950 XT. Tell you right now, that thing did not get that at all. But anyways, as per usual, let me know your thoughts in the channel below. Have a good one. Wildland Second Entertainment, signing off.